Here's a meet the author kind of chat I had with Titi Horsefall to gain some insights into her writing life. It's nice to have you on the channel's book club.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's start with your story. When did you start writing? What led to all this?
I started writing from when I was very young. First, reading. I started reading when I was 3 years old. And then my home was such that we were surrounded with books. We had a big library and books. So I read and read and read. And when I had finished reading everything that there was, and I could not maybe lay my hands to any new book, I moved to my mental consciousness.
Started creating your own books.
Thank you. Started creating my own stories mentally, and over time I gravitated. I had to start writing the stories. So it's been there. It's a gift, I believe. It's a gift. It's been there, and this is what it's birthed.
So you started writing, I'm guessing, before you were 10?
Oh, definitely. I
Stories.
I started writing poetry. Because I found poetry to be my channel to express myself. I was very reserved. I preferred words as my companions
Than people.
So I went into poetry. You know, I want to express myself. I want to enjoy words, the beauty of words, the meaning of words. So once I got the hang of poetry, prose came as a natural step, you know, because I could now go in that direction, having perfected, you know, this bit.
What type of writer would you describe yourself?
I write historical fiction. I research the past, pick learnings from the past, and bring it into a contemporary world for readers to make meaning on how the past was and how it connects with the reality. So it's a mix of fiction and facts.
Okay, now that brings me to this. You wrote here, set in England, America, and Nigeria, this sweeping love story delivers an active perspective of tumultuous historic events. How much of research did you do on England, America, and Nigeria to create the story?
A whole lot. I had so much information put together that when we were doing the editing, my editor looked at it, work, and said, Titi, you've got a whole lot. In fact, you have 3 books in one here. So what do you want? What's your prime focus? I said, Africa. I want to have a tribute to my homeland and tell the story from the Niger Delta context. I said, okay, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to keep this other information for yet another beautiful book. And let's now narrow it down to the African tale based on a global perspective of how things happening in far-flung areas affected Africa within that period of the Second World War and the Great Depression.
Okay. You've stepped into the world of the Nigerian writer, a Nigerian fiction writer. What's that world like? People tell me there are a lot of things to contend with and a lot of things to discourage them. The publishing sector is not as buoyant as it should be, readership, and so many other things. What's it like for you? Are you encouraged to write some more?
A lot. A lot. The gentleman who moderates the book reading, he said that he had given up reading literature until he met my novels. And since then, he's gotten an awakened interest to read literature. I'm gifted in this area, I must say. People read my books and almost see themselves in those scenes and those environments. So I've got a lot of response. People are reading. They're reading my books. It's encouraging people. I mean, you did hear Mrs. Koko Kangalago just saying that when she read, she gave to her daughter. I've heard grandfathers say when they finish reading, they give to their wife. When the wife read, they give to their... So I'm inspired by the feedback I've gotten to write more. That does not take away from the fact that it's a very complex scenario writing. Writing itself is a very complex venture. Carson Tate will say that if you're involved in a complex activity like writing, so that tells you that there's a lot of brain energy, mental energy that goes into writing. Even if it's a paragraph of a chapter, it takes a lot. So a lot of people need encouragement, just to, push people in the right direction so they don't give up. Writing is also a very lonely art. It's just you and the scenes and the vision of what you see. And if somebody doesn't see the finished work all of a sudden, they may not give you the encouragement, they may not give you the mental space. You need a lot of mental space, physical space, just to allow your creative prowess to come to fore. And then, of course, again, it is a very expensive venture. The publisher is looking at the business angle. The publisher wants a known name who can sell the product and who will bring quick returns, So for the publisher, I would also say going through a support system, a coaching system, a partnership system. You build the brand of the writer and you merge with your own publishing outfit. Then for the writers, if it's easy to write, don't write it. If it takes all of your gifts, your talents, then write it. People will want to read it because you're giving out the very best of you. And you're giving out what will be a legacy, to people, yeah.
Okay, for viewers who may not be familiar with your latest book is The Influence of a King, what's it about?
Central to the story is a love between an African girl. Her name is Kanya. Very beautiful girl, exotic looking, but she's tucked within the creeks of the Niger Delta. She's discriminated upon because of what she looks like. She's living in a very hopeless situation. And then at the other end of the world, you have Chad, an English warrior, a commando of His Majesty's Royal Navy, lives in affluence. Now they're world apart. But when all these global events, the Second World War, the Great Depression, all of this swing into action beyond their control, the choices they make, and of course faith and fate, their paths get to meet. So the moral of the story is, in a world we are, the global world of 6 billion people, you may think you're minute, irrelevant. You may not know. You may want to just think you're just moving with the tide of time. But if you hold on to yourself, you preserve yourself, you don't get wallowed with your depressing circumstance, I think the universe would sway in your direction for that positive good. Yeah.
Fantastic. How about from an orphan to a queen?
Esther.
What's this about?
Yes, it is based on the biblical character Esther, but it's told from a historical perspective. A couple of months in the cinemas, you had the movie, I think it was Noah.
Wow. Yes.
And people were thronging because we're going to watch it just to get that sense of history,
Yes.
Retold for an audience to, just feel the pulse of what it would have been like at that period. So that was how Esther was approached. Of course, I would not remove the God factor because that in itself is the core of who she was. I recall when my editor was going through the script, there were certain areas where he needed me to give more research in terms of the historical facts. For instance, you say Persia conquered Babylon. How did it do it? Now, when I look at the Bible, it's not there. But in secular history, in research, it's there. It talks about how the king dug another channel and diverted the river Euphrates so that it could go beneath the Babylonian walls and penetrate the city. I also searched history to get the exact time Esther was on the face of the earth, and then take into context all the countries and the nations that revolved around the Persian Empire about that time, to just create that full context, the richness of who she is, and then make her life so real, so believable that people have asked me, Titi, were you there? Because because the story is told like she's a next door neighbor or a girl, who you can relate with, a daughter, a wife, or sister. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Nice having you on the channel
so
Bookclub.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.